channel. This video is going to be slightly different to the rest of the vlogs because it's going to be a bit more like sit down and chatty rather than vloggy. Just to give you a background, I'm currently doing a 6-month internship at the UN. I wasn't sure how to structure this video, but a lot of you guys seem to be so interested and curious and had so many questions. So I just got like a bajillion questions on Instagram. I'm going to try and answer them all somehow. The way I'm going to structure this video is going to be two kind of sections. The first one, more general stuff about how to apply, what the process of applying is and like getting in and stuff. And then the second half is going to be more personal towards me. Like, what did I study? What am I doing? How do I like it? So let's go. So number one, applying. Applying to a UN internship is fairly simple. You can literally just go to Google and type in UN internship vacancies and you will get a list. So literally you can filter what region, country, office, what type of work you want to be doing, and it'll tell you all the vacancies available and you just have to apply. I recommend applying as fast as possible once the vacancies are listed. Once you find one that you like, you will be directed to whichever website they want you to apply through. Either they will ask you to send in your CV, resume, whatever, or how it worked for me was it led me to a website called Inspira, which is, I believe, how all UN Secretariat internships and like job openings are kind of filtered. So there you're invited to make a profile, which is very simple. It's just giving all your information, basically like a CV except on their website. So you just kind of apply, fill all of that out. They'll ask you for, I think, 2 references, and then obviously you do have to provide your educational background and certificates and stuff. Most importantly, I think, would be your cover letter. Make sure that's make sure you focus on that. Make sure you spend enough time to work on that. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail on how to write cover letters or anything because I'm not a pro at all. That's how you apply. Then you send it off, and then after, I don't know, a while, I guess it differs depending on how busy they are. How it was for me was they asked me to do a written test. I had I think I don't know, an hour or so time to submit. It was electronic. I assumed they were just assessing my written skills to see whether I can structure things nicely, articulate myself well, and just checking my background knowledge because the questions that I got were quite specific to the internship that I was applying for. Yeah, and then once I passed that stage, I was invited to do an interview. You can do this via Skype or phone or in person, depending on what country you're in, and yeah. And then that's it. And then you got an internship. I think the most kind of challenging part at that point might be finding out what organization to apply to because there are many. It's like the UN is not just like one kind of big body. It consists of many subsections, divisions, and all of that. So I would really recommend that you familiarize yourself with the structure, see what you're applying to. And then for the interview and stuff, like make sure that you are aware of the work that they do. I don't want to go into too much detail about like interviews or cover letters or stuff because I don't feel like I'm in the position to give you guys like tips on that. But yeah, many of you asked whether it's hard to get in, and I mean, yeah, it's competitive, but so is every other field of work, don't you think? Like, I used to get really discouraged when I hear that something's very competitive and I wouldn't want to even try, but I've gotten to the point where I think like, honestly, everything these days is competitive, and if you want it, then you just have to go get it. So don't be discouraged by like how hard it may be. Just do it, just try it, and you might get it. Yeah. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't get into the UN unless you've got connections, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure like to a certain extent, connections are good in any job. You know, like if someone can recommend you, if someone knows you personally and says, hey, this person is quite good, I'd recommend them, then obviously that's going to help you no matter whether it's the UN or any other organization or company. That being said, I didn't have any connections and I'm now doing my 2nd UN internship. So I wouldn't say that connections are everything. Okay, so slowly transitioning into the second part of the video, which is more regarding me and my background. A lot of you guys seem to think that I studied international relations. Not really. I have a law degree. I did law with international relations, but essentially it's an LLB. It's a Bachelor of Laws. And so 75% of my degree was law, and I had a few IR courses, so 25% of it was international relations. why did I do that? I don't know, I just like the combination of both and I thought it would be interesting, and yeah, that's what I studied. That being said, like, a lot of people are asking, do you have to study law in order to get into the UN? Like, no, honestly, like the UN is so big and it covers so many different issues that you could literally study anything and something would be relevant to the UN, because it covers issues ranging from, like, I don't know, human rights to environment to nuclear weapons to media and communications, you know. So honestly, you could study English and there would be some job that's relevant. Like, I don't know, there's translating jobs, there's even like media communications, because obviously the UN needs its public relations people as well, you know. So literally there's so much. That's why I think it would be important for you to familiarize yourself with the structure of the UN to see what it even covers. It's not just dealing with like politics, so you don't have to study international relations or political science to get into the UN. Like, there's no such thing as that. It really depends on what aspect or what field you're interested in, and it just goes from there. Okay, the sun is setting, so let's quickly wrap this up. Last questions were, did I like it? What am I really getting out of my internship? All of that. I definitely like it, especially now that I'm working with the Human Rights Office, which is what I wanted to do all along, and that's been like my #1 interest. So now the work that I do is also so much more interesting to me, and I'm so excited to contribute. So once again, I did 2 internships with the UN. The first one being with UN OCHA for 3 months, and the second one with UN OHCHR, which is the one I'm doing right now, and it's a 6-month internship. There is no connection between the two. Like, I did not get the second one because I did the first one or anything. My previous internship was not exactly very law related, whereas this one, it's got a lot more to do with my law degree. I feel like I'm actually I'm actually using my degree, which is nice, and that feels really rewarding, and I'm so happy that I got this opportunity and that I get to do this for so long right after graduating. Like, I just finished my bachelor's. I don't have a master's yet, so I feel very, very blessed that I get to do this. It is a great opportunity to kind of see what you like and what you don't like in the working world, especially, you know, for someone like me who I haven't had like a proper job yet. So this is, I guess that's what internships are for, though. It really helps you see what kind of work you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And also the UN itself, it's really inspiring to be in that atmosphere and that environment. I know, like, it's not very controversial, but people have their differing opinions about the work that the UN does. And to be honest, like, being in the UN, like in Geneva, and seeing all of these things, getting to go to the Human Rights Council, getting to see Kofi Annan, getting to see the UN Secretary General, like, all of these things have been really, really inspiring to me to also figure out what I want in life. Because I don't know about you, but life is tricky, you know? Like, my interests or like my career aspirations have not been like super clear to me. I know that I'm really interested in human rights, but then again, like, it's not like there's one specific job that I really want, you know? Maybe that's a good thing, because there's like a broader spectrum of stuff that I can imagine myself doing. Yeah, so this internship has really helped me kind of realize the things that I like and the things that I can imagine myself doing as a career later on as well. So I really recommend that when you apply for internships, I mean, although like it's good to be open to anything and see whatever there is that you can find, at the same time, you will feel a lot more content with it if it's truly something that's in your field. So I really just recommend that you think about what is it that you like, or whether your degree is really what you want to do as a career. If so, then try to find internships specifically in that field, because that's when you can put in the most as well. You know, it's not just about you producing work for the office, it's also about what you get out of your internship. So if you apply to something that's in your field of study, if that's what you really like as a career, then that's going to feel a lot more rewarding to you as well. Yeah, so all in all, it's definitely very, very rewarding. I'm sure like maybe I'll post like an update video later on once I've completed this second internship, because I really feel like this second one is really the one that I was waiting for. because the team is great. And people, you guys asked whether it's just like desk work, whether you're just kind of like doing Excel sheets and PowerPoints and like photocopying. No. Up until now, I have never made any photocopies. I have not had to make anyone coffee, although, okay, I made coffee for one colleague because I was friendly, only because I was making myself a cup of coffee, and then I made him a cup of coffee. But anyways, other than that, like, I haven't had to, you know, it's not just photocopying and this and that. That being said, it is still an internship, so there are some, like, you know, just supportive tasks that just have to be done. And although I'm not going to deny, like, yeah, there are some tasks which are just like, okay, like, you know, anyone can kind of do this task, but it's definitely not like the only thing about the internship, which is why I feel really content now, because my team that I work with right now, they're really, really involving, and basically like the work that I do is the same as what the staff does. It's very, very different, like, you know, when you're studying something and then when you actually put that knowledge into practice, it's very different. And so internships, I think, are a great way of kind of introducing that working world to you. Yeah, also, UN internships, most of them are unpaid. Yeah, that's that. There are a couple of organizations within the UN that are now starting to pay their interns, but I think for the majority, internships at the UN are unpaid. And I find that a lot of internships in this kind of field of work, which is like, you know, not the private sector, a lot of internships are unpaid. So I don't know, for you, I don't know, finance guys or so, maybe it seems really weird that like, what, internships are unpaid? What, how is that possible? Especially because I work for a division that deals with victims of torture and modern day slavery. So it's ironic that, you know, whether or not you think it's still worth doing, that's up to you. I'm really glad that I did this because when I graduated, right after graduating, like, I don't know about you guys, I don't know what stage in life you guys are at, but it's confusing, you know, like trying to decide where you want to go with your life. And I feel like this internship really helped put that into perspective for me, and I got a lot of valuable experiences through this internship. Okay, the sun is setting now, so I should probably wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative or interesting, helpful. If you have any further questions, let me know and I'll try to get back to you. I might make a follow-up video later on and during the time of my internship, maybe at the end or later on, just generally. Anyways, I might make further videos about my internship, so do let me know if there's anything further you want to see. I've been talking for way too long, so I'm gonna get going now. Bye.